That's how it starts. The fever, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness that turns good men cruel.
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
Not like this. Not like this.
Everybody, welcome back. It's business, and it's time for episode 46 of Ships and Giggles. We're getting closer to the big 5-0, so yeah,
Fire on the designated
it's a lot.
target.
Just thinking about like how many hours and like how much gameplay and the the dev strikes and everything else, the double strikes that have been shown in the series. It's kind of crazy actually. So, but yeah, I been kind of going back and forth with wanting to make videos and not really wanting to make videos. I cleared out about 380 gigs of old footage that I really just couldn't do anything with anymore. So my storage drive is very happy with the fact that I cleared that out. So but yeah, it's tough because like over the years, like I mean some of these clips, they're old as hell, man. Like two of the ones that you'll be seeing today, actually I think it's the one with the Kuma. I'm gonna be showing some Kuma footage, is actually a year and a half old, and that's, yeah, kind of surprising, of course, but there you go. We got a early first blood dev strike there, which is pretty awesome. So I'm gonna kind of keep this simple today. Just gonna talk about the gameplay at hand. I really have nothing to talk about with the game overall right now, unless I'm fielding specific questions, which is to say that without having them, I don't really have much to talk about because kind of I don't want to say at a, not necessarily a crossroads with the game. It's just more and just kind of giving myself some distance there and letting myself play some other stuff as well. So I'll get into that for the next one because I'll actually have footage of the, like, you know, I'll just detail some more of the stuff that I'm actually playing, such as the Arkham series and Borderlands 3, but they'll be pretty brief, but you know, I'll still call it Ships and Giggles. So anyways, this match is, I'm obviously in the Akatsuki, and this is one of my favorite destroyers in the game. Really fun to play. I've featured it a few times and had some crazy matches with it. This particular match, though, is one of my all-time favorites for a destroyer, so you'll see why as we go on, of course, but it's actually a 5v5 as far as destroyers are concerned, and actually, holy shit, no, this is a year and a half old. This particular clip is, this match was a year and a half ago, but there we go. Managed to get one of their destroyers, got a dev strike. With torps like this, it really doesn't take that much to, if you can, you know, hit them broadside, they don't have any damage taken or anything, and so you can avoid damage saturation. You can just knock the hell out of most destroyers with one torps, you know, sometimes a couple more. If damage saturation is in effect, it might take a little bit more than that, and we got a pretty good demonstration of that here. So another destroyer comes rushing in here, so I mean, we've got a rat's nest of of destroyers in here right now, and it's kind of a crazy fight in this situation. In like, just as far as like, hey, I'm gonna walk into these guys and see what happens. So I don't know what the hell the dude was thinking, but whatever. It is what it is. Got the kill, and they're down 2 DDs. So trying to disrupt their points here at B and trying to get into a better position to be able to do something here as well. Not really liking the situation that's developing here. with the fact that, one, I'm spotted, so the kind of, you know, the jig is up pretty much. But these guys are moving in, and it's not exactly a position that I'm comfortable with, so I'm gonna back up to the edge of the cap and just move my ass on out of there. So got the torps going into the smoke though, and you know, torps can't hit anything if they don't get sent in the first place, but throw those out there. And that's one of the best things about this ship too, is that it's a 3x3 setup, so you have options compared to if it were a 2x4. You can always hold off one of those for, like, you know, something more severe if you're anticipating somebody showing up like really close, or you intend to ambush somebody. But managed to get a torp hit there, and if you look in the top right, that damage is taken away. So alright, that seems kind of weird to me, but yep, it's time to get the hell out of here, because this, if somebody comes around right now, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to get out of that with, you know, even half of my ship intact, of course. Anyhow, damage is still going off, and I'm going to try to curl up north, see if I can blunt the battleships from pushing through, because obviously we're just trying to control things here. And this is one of those situations, I had this happen on stream last night too. It's better to go from C to B than from A to B, and that was actually a destroyer that we hit, and that poor unfortunate bastard, he got dev struck because he did his damage control on a fire or something like that, a near miss that knocked out his engine, and there you go. And then how many torps does it take? There we go. Another devastating strike against another destroyer. There's only one left. So this is if you know anything about me and how the XP system works, this is like a fucking dream come true as far as like the value here in terms of base XP is phenomenal. 3 dev strikes on 3 destroyers and having a kill on another one, that's pretty damn special, you know? It's certainly not something that happens very often. So anyhow, decide to throw torps in the gap there, just again trying to keep these guys away from pushing in and making this harder for us. Managed to get the Nagato in the butt and get a Confederate too, which is not really a common occurrence with a ship that has more of an emphasis on torpedoes, so pretty happy about that. Get some more damage against the North Carolina. I think I hit him with the torp, and at this point it's the Asashi over here. I'm kind of worried because if he shows up the way that I'm thinking he will, then there's a good chance that his guns, assuming the guy uses them, are really gonna be a problem for me. And yeah, not a very common occurrence that you get an Asashio who's willing to use his guns, but this guy did, and it hurt. But we got all 5 DDs and only like 90,500 damage. Okay, well, 6 kills, yeah, whatever. Booyah, look at that base XP. So, holy shit, that was awesome. And now to move on to something that most people don't think is awesome, the Kuma. So this was actually even older than the previous clip that I showed you. So I recorded this March 20th, 2018. So yeah, this is, I'm going back in time basically. But well, this ship is you know, as far as the ships at tier 4 are concerned, I really like the Kuma. You know, it's got some flexible aspects to it. The rate of fire is pretty solid. It has decent AP pen as well, and you know, the ship just is almost like a hydrofoil though, with how it sticks up out of the water so goddamn much. But I mean, other than that, it's a pretty solid little ship. And again, with the rate of fire, the amount of shells that you can throw out in a rather short period of time, I mean, it does have some real qualities to it. So things already look like they're going to shit for me. This looks like a suicide push. I kind of feel like it is too, and I'm just like, hey, you know what? We're a few minutes in, nothing's really happening. It's time to start doing something. So switch to AP, start throwing shells down at the Furutaka, and it looks like it's an A or B hull. So there's also the Svetlana over here to my left, which is honestly a pretty damn dangerous ship to play against when you're in something like Akuma, simply for the sheer volume of the firepower. Because I mean, that thing has guns everywhere. You know, it's the better Krasny Krim after all. But It's kind of funny because that ship is, I mean, both of them, like, you get close enough to them, and I don't know how the hell I got a torpid there, but whatever. You get close enough to these enemy ships, and you'll be really surprised with what you can manage to do with their AP, and especially with the fact that, you know, I mean, Russian AP is never really much of a slouch, but, you know, for tier 4, the Svetlana is surprisingly, I think it's surprisingly good as well, but I've already been knocked down to 35-40% of my health, so obviously I have to take it very carefully at this point, and trying to see what I can do to help out my teammates here, because, you know, health is just a resource you have to be careful with. It's really easy to give it up, and it's really hard to stay in the fight when you don't have that much of it, so you become far less of a threat. But the Furutak is obviously in a bad spot here between the two of us, and managed to get some more citadels there, so alright. You know, again, I'm happy with the results so far. This match is relatively, you know, it can go either way, especially with this Kaiser that looks like he's about to. Oh, well, here. Okay, well, definitely tilted more in their favor. So, and again, you have to remember this is before the CV rework, so the carriers are a lot more potent, and just something to consider, because it's pretty easy to forget sometimes when you're watching things without the idea of what is actually going on in the game at the time that the video was recorded. So I screw up on the torp launch, just kind of put them in the same spot. So that's obviously my mistake. So whatever. Either way, he doesn't get another shot off as the Oman gets the flesh wound on him. So thankfully he's done with, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I do have a couple carriers that are to the north somewhere, and gonna make a move on trying to harass them and hopefully get the chance to sink them. But of course, I mean, there's nobody else around me, so I really don't have much of another option here. So just jumping ahead a little bit, engaging the Hosho, throwing shells at the Langley 2 here in a second, who's beached up in the corner. The problem is there's a DD that Cap B, he's now at C, and I used my Hydro in preparation of him coming after me, but he went to the Cap instead. So a few issues here, though. I could go up here, probably get at least one of them, maybe both. I mean, that's kind of a that's a crapshoot for sure. But the other issue is the battleship that's coming over to help them out. I can't engage him, obviously, and certainly not at range. I mean, a couple overpens or even one pen is going to hurt the ship really, really badly with how little health I have remaining. So now it is a Clemson down here, of course, because he's the only DD left. But it's more about where I find him, and there he is. So I'm not terribly worried about the Clemson, mainly because, you know, it's a good ship, but, you know, compared to what the Kuma can drop on his ass, it's not that good. So if he were closer, I'd be much more concerned. You know, the AP on it is not very good at all, but, you know, it's certainly nowhere near like something like the Izyaslav or, my god, the Wakeful, which has essentially like top tier, and I'm saying like high tier AP pen for a tier 4 destroyer. That thing can Citadel a Minotaur at like 5 or 6 kilometers, which is to say that it's able to pen over 100 millimeters at that range, which is what the Citadel protection on the Minotaur is. So come around the bottom side, he's still there. I'm not entirely sure why, but managed to get a hit that does absolutely nothing thanks to HE being super awesome all the time, and managed to kill him. But we've got shells coming in from the Caesar. Lucky. So I don't have any health to mess around with here. So 2 overpens kills me. Obviously 1 pen will kill me too, so doing everything I can to abuse the hell out of this island and the arcs that the Kuma has, which is to say that they're actually pretty low for a ship at this tier. I mean, I can't even imagine what it would be like if a US cruiser had shell arcs like this. My god, that would be amazing. But got another salvo coming in, a bit too high, thankfully, and now it's farm time, boys. So we're just setting fires and, you know, working against his damage control party. He's still very much interested in getting rid of me. Of course, I'm the only... No, actually, you should be able to see the Langley over there, but with how damn close I am to being dead, this has got to be super frustrating for him. And according to chat, it really is. So, I mean, this is a ridiculous situation. You can't expect... I mean, Jesus Christ, really? Jeez. We got the bow fire. We got 3 fires rolling on him, so... high caliber. And he's about to go down. There it is. The arsonist. Yeah. So, certainly better than I expected. Again, it's a loss one way or another, but I really didn't have much of a choice there. I wish I would have been able to take out both of the carriers, but ended up taking out a destroyer and a battleship as well. So, you know, is what it is. But for the last clips of this episode, which is one of my shortest episodes to date, which I'm sorry, I've just got a lot of stuff to do, and I wanted to throw this footage out there as well for you guys, so I can basically get rid of it again. And I am doing a lot more recording too, but the Bayard at tier 8 is one of my favorite ships in the game, just like its little brother, the DeGrasse at tier 6. These are just awesome little ships, and I would probably, out of all the ship types in the game, I would probably say that I'm more of a light cruiser player than anything else, regardless of how many matches I have in battleships or, you know, whatever else, destroyers or anything. I just feel much more comfortable with the light cruisers, the flexibility they tend to offer, that sort of thing. And honestly, they tend to get, I really think they get overlooked for their AP ability as well. And in that regard, you know, something like this, especially since it has main battery reload booster, which, again, I'm not a fan of having this damn consumable in the game, but whatever, it's in the game, it just have to deal with it. It's you can rack up some serious damage real fast, and I've got a video coming up of the DeGrasse and the Bayard, a couple matches with them that I think you guys will end up enjoying quite a bit, but trying to make it over towards the island here to reduce the ability of the rear turrets to be able to hit me, and they just blasted into the island there, so good stuff. And aiming towards the bow there, get one last shot. Booyah, 8,200 damage. That's where you aim, by the way, in that situation. Don't try to aim towards the belt or anything else. The front clip there, the bow, gives up quite a bit of damage there to even low caliber shells. So anyways, we've got a situation here with the Wister. This is a scary situation. I don't expect to live. I'm gonna pop my main battery reload booster, aim right underneath the front. Oh shit. Okay. Well, that'll do it. And if that doesn't feel like justice after the beginning of the video today and with that clip at the end, I don't know what will. So thanks for watching today. I will see you back here next time, and take care, everybody.